welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about sleep, getting your baby to sleep, and sharing with you my secrets, which I have to admit are not going to be secrets about getting your baby to sleep like that. I don't think it happens like that, but they are secrets about maybe getting a little bit of perspective around sleep when you've got a very young baby, and how to be okay in the sleep deprivation and not feel like, oh my God, am I ever going to sleep again? If you're brand new here, welcome. Like I said, my name is Bettina Ray. I'm a yoga teacher. I specialize in yoga for fertility, pregnancy, birth, and early motherhood. I've got 3 boys of my own. My youngest is just 4 months old as I'm filming this. So I too am in the thick of absolute sleep deprivation. I sometimes joke that I haven't slept for around 7 years now, which is not really too far off the truth. So I have to admit, I don't make great sleepers. I have tried quite a few of the different sleep techniques or ideas out there. So if you're wondering what to do, whether to do sleep training or to do like attachment parenting or co-sleeping or any of those sort of in-between sorts of things, I guess I'm just going to share my story with you today, what we've done, what I've found work, how to not go certifiably insane when you're not getting any sleep. So I think the number one thing I want to share with you today is something that someone said to me when I think I had my second boy. And this piece of advice, I don't know, it's always sat with me when she said it. And it was something about how it seems crazy that we think we can get another person to sleep, when the reality is you can't actually make anyone sleep. Like, you'd have to have some sort of magic to get someone to sleep. You can kind of create the right environment to get someone to sleep, but the actual falling asleep part is not on you, which at the time was like this light bulb going off in my head. It was like, right, it's not actually me. It's not my problem. It's not something I'm doing wrong, which sort of felt like a weight off my shoulders. So if you've got a little one who is not sleeping, no matter what you do, can you just take that little worry off your shoulders? It's not you, it's not anything you're doing. For whatever reason, this little person just has trouble getting to sleep. So the reason this piece of advice probably changed my perspective so much is because first time round, not getting sleep really threw me. I don't know what I expected when I was having a baby, but I don't know, I guess I probably didn't have the experience with newborns to realize they don't sleep very much. And more than that, it almost feels like nothing you can do actually helps them to sleep. And so I really struggled, and I struggled with the absolute utter sleep deprivation. I think with your first, you struggle the most because you've never experienced anything like it. So I started reading the books on how to sleep train, and they told me about all these bad habits that I'd created in my baby and how I needed to put him down and let him cry so that he would know how to settle himself. And that's what we did. And my anxiety level continued to rise and rise and rise. And my baby did get a little bit better at sleeping, but it honestly wasn't worth it. It stressed me out, it stressed him out, it put stress on my relationship because it just made me feel like I was on edge all the time. Like, because I felt like I had to stick to this rigid schedule. Anytime that schedule flew out the window or we did something wrong, and then he was unsettled and wouldn't just go to sleep like that, felt like we were doing it wrong, and it just felt horrible, and it just made me not enjoy my baby because I was so focused on getting sleep right, which I never really felt like we got it. Yes, this is really working and is worth the stress. Which is not to say sleep training doesn't work and that it's not right for some people, because I do know a beautiful twin mama of mine who sleep training was absolutely essential for, and other mums who it's been a godsend for. But for me personally, it didn't work because it just made me feel stressed out by the whole thing. So after a while of doing the sleep training and coming to realize that it was just making me more stressed out than necessary, we just started co-sleeping with him. And yes, co-sleeping does mean that you often wake up in the night because they're right there, but on the whole, it was a lot more chilled for us and everyone got a lot more sleep. So when my second boy came along, I didn't even try to do sleep training with him. I just kind of rolled with, well, we'll just see what works, when it works, and how it works. So I think to start with, I just fed him to sleep, and then we hit that beautiful 4-month regression and I stopped feeding him to sleep and started rocking him to sleep. Usually night wean my boys quite early, so I think, I don't know, by about 8 months or so they were night weaned, and then we just co-slept and he had a dummy. So I guess my philosophy now on sleep is really just to do what works when it works. Don't believe the books that say you're creating bad habits, and don't let it stress you out. If it works now and that's working for you, awesome, do it. When you get to the point where it doesn't work, you can change it. Nothing is stuck in stone. Kids are really adaptable. So when it stops working for you and your family, you can 100% change it. So I think it's somewhat ironic that now with my third baby, I have the worst sleeper yet. And I can't tell you why that is, and I don't think I need to know. And I think that's the difference from me now as a third-time mum to first time round. First time round, I spent so much time trying to figure him out. Like there was some secret puzzle I could solve, and I just needed to find the right thing. But that was so stressful, and I spent so much energy. Even, like, this is so ironic, I lost sleep in the middle of the night thinking about how I could get him to sleep better. Like, seriously, just go to sleep when you can. Oh, if only I could go back to that first time mama that I was. But anyway, we do what we do with what we know, and when we know better, we can do better. And I guess now my knowing better has actually nothing to do with making them sleep. It's just about what I can control, which is myself and my reaction to the lack of sleep. So I'm a lot easier on myself. I actually probably take more naps now than I do when I had one child, which is harder to do given I've got 2 other kids, but I will just lie down for 20 minutes and have a little nap while they're watching the iPad next to me. And I won't push myself to do things like I felt like I should first time round. So I think that's the big difference, is losing the anxiety around sleep, thinking you have to have your baby sleeping at a certain time. I found it's so much easier, and I enjoy my babies more when I don't worry about it. Luca doesn't really even have a regular schedule. He just kind of naps when he can, which sort of works out a little bit like 8 o'clock in the morning, which is really handy because it's just before school drop off. And then he tends to have somewhere around 11 or midday nap, and then he'll usually want a late afternoon nap before bedtime. This routine has been created through nothing I've done. I just kind of watch for when he gets cranky and nothing's making him happy anymore, and I stick the dummy in his mouth and I rock him to sleep. Or sometimes I'm just holding him, doing what I need to do with the other boys, and he falls asleep. So I think the reason I wanted to make this video is just if you are struggling with sleep and you don't know what to do, whether that's sleep training or co-sleeping or any of the other different methods and miracle cures that there are out there, I just want to say to you, all your baby needs is you. You can do what works now and know that if in 10 weeks time it's not working for you any longer and you do need to do maybe a little bit of training or ditch the dummy or go back to feeding to sleep, you can do that. You can change. It's not stuck in stone. You're not creating bad habits. Just do what works now until it doesn't work anymore, and then you can change it. Let me know in the comments what sort of sleepers you have, whether you do any sort of sleep training or follow any sort of programs. I'd love to know what has worked for you, what hasn't worked in your experience, what you found. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, make sure you do, and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video.